Hello, everyone, and welcome. Our goal is to keep you as agents as educated as possible, help you grow your business going from zero transactions to as many as you desire to grow to. Today, I'm excited to have Kim join us. If you haven't met Kim Offord, she's been teaching and instructing on AI for real estate agents. And one of the cool ways that she's leveraged this, and one of the unique pieces, and maybe something you guys didn't know, is that she has actually helped Grammy Award winners with AI music videos. So we're talking to somebody who has gone above just your regular AI that we're all using, like ChatGPT, to write different prompts for our social posts. And she's saying, hey, did you know that there's some really cool things that you can do in the video world? And
Yeah.
today she's going to be going through more about storytelling, how we can throw some of this in our business and really not just that, but if when you have somebody who's at this level of video, storytelling is beyond, just the typical storytelling. She's going to go really in depth and tell you how to bring people and to know, like, and trust you. We're so excited to have you, Kim. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here. No like and trust. I've been hearing lately a lot of people saying, I heard this on an ad. Don't worry about no like and trust anymore. And I was like, are you kidding me? That is like the core. Don't tell the realtors that. Don't tell them that. Because what you've probably been hearing a lot is that people are saying that storytelling that storytelling is the key. And when you think about all the people that you have patronized, all of the products that you've used, there's stories behind them. And that's all part of know, like, and trust, and that art of know, liking, and trusting someone. So I'm going to get into it. And it's not that hard. It's not that difficult. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it. So, generic content, it gets ignored. So if you're noticing that you're putting that content out there, everybody is saying post content, and you're posting content 1, 2, 3 times a day, and you're getting the same family members and the same friends who are liking your stuff, and it's almost like they're doing charity work by just liking your stuff. You're not getting that traction that you really want. And so that's because a lot of times it's the generic content. And agents who connect, those are the ones who win. And so this whole presentation is about building that foundation. Um, and yes, I have done videos, and film, AI film for a lot of people, but at the foundation of that is a story, and it is your brand. It is your brand connecting with people, and that's what will power your content. So I'm going to start at the foundation, and then we're going to move in to something else. And so the goal here is that I want you to walk away with actionable steps and some tools to implement them quickly. Now, the tools that I'm going to share with you, they're not the only ones. If you have something that will do that's comparable to some of the tools that I share, by all means, use them. These are just some of the ones that are the easiest, the most that you can adapt to easier, because AI, you can go down a whole rabbit hole with AI and get confused and get discouraged. And we don't want that. Okay, so real quick, what I'm going to do is I want you to just think about, what's your biggest struggle? What is your biggest struggle with content right now? Is it connecting with people? What is that? What is that struggle?
I think it's funny because I'll answer this one so you guys
Mhm.
get kind of an example here. Mine is I almost want every post to be a home run post.
Mm,
So what do? I spend oodles of time and way too much thinking about every piece of my market to where it's obnoxious, and then I obsess over all of the
yep,
analytics at the end. It's
yep.
so personally, what keeps me from posting consistently is the fact that I keep wanting home run posts only.
And you know what? Gosh, here's the thing. My most successful posts have been the ones that I just said, let you I didn't even think about it. I didn't plan it. I didn't have a script. I just said, you know what? If it's a video, let me jump on here and let me talk about this because I just passed this new restaurant in this community and I'm going to run in there real quick. Let me just jump on real quick and just tell everybody about it. Or, let me mention the fact that I was just showing over here and this cat was on the porch and wouldn't let me show this house. It's just random stuff that actually connects with people. Why? Because it's relatable. And sometimes we overthink, and then we don't understand our audience too and what's important to them. And sometimes what's important to them is just the small things, just you coming in and showing yourself genuinely. So that's a big struggle, but you learn it the hard way sometimes. That's a really good answer. And I think that is probably going to be one of the majority answers, is that, I spent all this time and, and I'm putting this content out here and I'm just not getting it, or one other struggle, may be that, I don't know when to post. I don't know when the right times are. I'm not catching the algorithm, or, I'm just lost, or I just don't like social media. I'm camera shy, so we're going to talk about a few of those things too. So here's the foundation. The foundation, what we've talked about, what you're here for is know, like, and trust. Okay. So that know is your visibility. You can't be a secret agent. You cannot. If you are a secret agent, nobody's going to see you. Nobody's going to know that you're even there to even call on to say, hey, can you take this listing, or whatever. So the know is the visibility. So staying visible. The like is the relatability, meaning that your audience connects with you. Now, when I say your audience, I'm not talking about everybody. You can't possibly connect with everyone, and that shouldn't be your goal, to connect with everyone. And so you want to have that relatability, but that relatability for your particular audience. And then the third one is your trust. That's it. That's your authority that makes that consumer say, I'm going to choose this particular agent. And how do you achieve that trust? It's through your knowledge. It's through your value. It's through what you bring to the table. And so the key is, well, Kim, how can I relay how can I be visible and be relatable and give authority? And there's a way to do that. You don't have to do all three every time you create content. You could just focus on one. And as a matter of fact, I'll give you this one little secret. With content planning, you can have a chart and you can have know, like, and trust on that chart as you plan out your social media. And then you can have what content you're going to put out there that relies on the know, that makes you visible. You can then have another day where all of your content focuses on the like, which is relatability, which is how can they connect with you? Hey, they can connect with me because, I live in a community where Little League baseball is really big, and, and I'm out here serving hot dogs all the time, whatever it is. And then the trust, you can have something that focuses in on the trust. But why does this matter? Well, now we're living in a day where social proof is everything. Think about how you connect with whatever brands that you use. That social proof is huge. And then people have shorter attention spans. And so because they have shorter attention spans, you want to connect immediately when that audience is out there looking through, scrolling through whatever platform it is that you decide to use, whether it's their email or it's social media, whatever it is. They have short attention spans. So you want to be able to connect with that person with what it is that they like. And then all that online noise. I mean, depending on if you're 9 times out of 10, if you are someone who is likely to be in the market for a realtor, you have scrolled or looked at something on your phone, on your mobile device that deals with real estate. And so now the algorithm has caught on to that. And now they have all this real estate noise. And you have to break through all of that noise. And I'm going to tell you something else. I've said this statement a lot. Nobody needs a realtor until they need a realtor. And when they do, you need to be the realtor that is top of their mind, right? And so that's breaking through the noise. And how do you do that? You're know, like, and trust, but you also have to be top of mind. Mastering know, like, and trust, you will stay top of mind with consumers so that when they do need that realtor, they'll remember, oh yeah, I remember seeing that post on Kim's page, where she was out there showing that house, and it was so funny. That cat wouldn't let her on the porch, or whatever it is. And I'm, having that storytelling right there, but still it's staying top of mind, and it's staying top of mind through know, like, and trust. I want you to think of 3 words. As you're listening to this presentation, think of 3 words. How would your clients describe your brand? Now, here's what happens when I say this to my real estate community. They start thinking about what 3 words the client would say about their brokerage. That's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking, what would your clients, how would they describe your brand? Now, I've been a managing broker before, and I have said this at conferences. I've said this to my agents when I was managing, and that is that we love our brokerages. We love the brands that that educate us. We love them, and we're there for a reason, right? However, the most valuable agents that I had with the company that I was with when I was a managing broker were the agents who had their own identity and their own brand. They were the agents that made us strong. And so what I want you to think about is, what would your client, how would they describe your brand? And based on those 3 words, that will tell you a lot about what your brand story is, what your identity is. And you may be surprised, because what 3 words you think they're saying, that may not be what they're thinking. So I always encourage everyone, as they start, thinking about this know, like, and trust, and creating that content, to do what's called a brand audit. So audit yourself and understand, what is it that makes me relatable? What is it that makes me, what is it about know, like, and trust with me and my brand that I can continue to communicate, that connected with all of the clients that I've had? And those of you who are new and you're saying, but Kim, I don't have any clients yet. I'm trying to get over this hump. We've all been there. We've all been there. I want you to take a moment and to assess why you came into the business. That's number 1. What is it that you like about the business now that you're here? And what value can you bring to that new client that I know you're going to get? Okay. So I want you all to think about those 3 words. Okay. And then I want you to think about your ideal client. You want to create. So I want you to think about your client avatar. In other words, who are they? What do they value? What are their dreams? What are their pain points? With the demographics, where do they live? Not just where do they live and how many kids do they have, and do they have a dog, and no, let's think about everything that makes that client your ideal client. So I'll give you an example. So downsizers. I did a video. That's what got me into this whole AI video thing. I did a video for downsizers, and I called it Smart Downsizing. And I evaluated everything, every pain point that a downsizer would have what their typical, their demographics, their age range, what their values were, what they were thinking, what was important to them, what were their pain points. And then I aligned a brand voice around that client's needs. And it was genuine. Let me say that it was genuine because I have a genuine love for in the downsizing market. I love seniors, love them to death. They're gonna I'm gonna come in the house and they're gonna probably feed me, and I'm gonna be there for about an hour or two. But I love them. But that downsizing market, you have to understand what it is, what their pain points are, and what their needs are. And that goes for every market. And you're going to speak to each of them differently, and you'll present differently. Okay. Because again, you're going for that know, like, and trust. So there's a danger in talking to everyone, in trying to model your brand voice around talking to everybody. That's why I have that box of cookies over there. If you notice, there's a variety of cookies in there, and then, yeah, they fit into the box, but you have to be very careful, because that's when you just start having, generic posts.
Well, let's even dive into this a little bit.
Mhm.
If you guys are grabbing your demographics, so you've figured out, okay, there's a certain price point in my market that I can sell, right? I don't want to be selling luxury in a market that has no luxury, right? We want to make sure we identify the correct demographics, the right market.
Mhm.
Let's think of maybe 2 quick videos in very particular markets that you could do. So, and that are demographic friendly. So any demographic that you have. So my first thought is go into neighborhoods and talk about neighborhoods
Yep.
that you want to sell in. Act again, this is that becoming trust, right? You want to become the one who knows the neighborhood the best. So
Yep.
when people are searching for houses in XYZ neighborhood, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, any of the different channels, you want to be that number one in that area. And then on top of that, let's take it another step further. Who usually buys in that neighborhood? Are they young couples, older? Are we looking? I live in Florida, so we get snowbirds, right? That's a
Yep.
whole market. I've got a whole market of people that only market to snowbirds here.
Oh, I know a lot of people here in Chicago that are snowbirds. So you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that. You have to think about that. And then you have to think about what's not just what's important to that target market, but maybe there's this really cool coffee shop that everybody loves, in the neighborhood. What can I do that is going to speak to them so that I'm relatable? Everybody can't sell luxury.
No.
That's just it. We all would love to. After every reality show we've seen, we'd love to sell luxury, but I know that's not my market. So I try to be the expert in the market that I am most relatable in. If you look at the most successful agents in your market, no matter if they're luxury or if they are rehab, type agents, whatever type of agent they are, they have one thing that they stick to.
Mhm.
One thing, one niche that they stick to, that they are the expert at. They can tell you everything about the clients, what they like, what they love. They can tell you everything, and they stick to that. And that is what makes them very successful.
And I think the beauty of when you get into that niche is you also end up finding a community.
Yes.
And I think that ends up being 10 times more valuable is once you can create a community around your niche, and that's when you know you
Yes.
made it.
Absolutely. I would say to each of the agents that are watching this and you're still struggling with what is my niche? What do I do? I would say take an inventory of your life. Take an inventory of, maybe you have a young child that attends the local grammar school, and they're involved in extracurricular activities, and you find that you're the soccer mom, or you're the whatever parent, whatever it is. Take an inventory of your life. Maybe you like to collect things, and the local community that collects stuff, or you go to all of the weekend sales and everything. Whatever it is, take an inventory, because there's always a community for it. Always. There's a community for everything. I have found that out. So there's a difference. There's a difference between talking to empty nesters, we've said that, who want to downsize, versus first time millennial home buyers who want to build equity. And so understanding that will help shape how your content goes. So I have a prompt here. And those of you who know, all you have to do is you could take a screenshot of this and then drop it into your chat GPT or whatever, and it should pick it up. I don't know. But if not, don't worry, just take a screenshot of it. But this is a prompt that you can use in either chat GPT, Claude, whatever your preference is. And this will help you to get started to understanding your audience, to understanding who, creating that client avatar, basically, so that you can now begin to develop your content and to develop your content message. So this has been very helpful for me. And let's talk about storytelling. Okay. Facts tell, but stories sell. They absolutely do. And I want you to think about any brand that you've worked with or any brand that you like. Everybody has a story. And being able to tell the right story at the right time that resonates with your client, potential clients, is so critical. Don't just focus on, I sold a house today, or I just got a new listing. That's great. A lot of agents sold houses today, and a lot of agents, got listings. People want to hear something else other than that. I will tell you something that I did that turned into one of my biggest lead generators, and it all involved storytelling. I was having my basement remodeled, and I decided one day, again, this was one of those impromptu days where I just did something and didn't realize at first that, oh my God, this has turned into a lead generator. I was having my basement remodeled, and there was this one crack in the wall that didn't realize was there. You know how it is. You uncover, take a wall down, and your life is just over now. And so there was water coming through this crack in the wall. And so I went downstairs and I pulled out my phone and started doing like a good, like maybe a 5-minute video. I don't even think I did that. I may have taken a picture, and I just said, crack kills, right? And so I was so angry about this one crack in the wall. And I started talking about the basement remodel or whatever. And I took a picture, I put it on Facebook, and I got so many likes and laughs and this, that, and the third. And it just flew off, right? And I was like, oh wow, okay. And so then the next day I came back and I did an update, on the crack in my wall. And again, people again just started jumping on. And I started talking about, hey, as a realtor, this is what happens sometimes in listings and da 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 da, whatever. It went on for the whole duration of my basement remodel. Every day I came back, maybe not every day, but periodically I came back with a story that people could relate to. And I started tying that in to real estate. I started then what I did was I added a lead magnet, and we'll talk about that in a couple of slides. I added a lead magnet with my story to talk about what are the top, I think I said like maybe the top 20 things you can do to improve the value of your home. And I centered that all around this basement remodel and the fact that I was so mad that I had discovered this crack in the wall in my basement. That one story got me so many leads. Not only did it get me leads, but it also got consultations where people wanted me to come to their home and take a look at their house and give them, a CMA, comparative market analysis on what the value of their home and possibly how much could I add in value if they redid their basements. And, and it did lead to some actual sales that I acquired. But that all happened through just telling a story, impromptu, telling a story and realizing people wanted to relate. They wanted to know more about what was happening in your basement, to the point where end of the story was I had to do a big final reveal. I had thousands of people on that live to do the reveal for that basement. And I took advantage of that by having a lead magnet to get leads through that. So storytelling works. It absolutely, as a realtor in your community, interactive pieces, quick stories, and your relationship with your community. Those are all great stories that you can tell.
And honestly, even the behind the scenes one, it can be very simple. One of the ones that I see a lot of agents in my market leverage is whether they're watching a specific TV show, but they have, the MLS open on their laptop. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like this sort of quick photo of, hey, late night watching, Yellowstone or Fallout and working on the late and pulling MLS stats,
Yeah.
that sort of correlation between, hey, this is a little bit of what's going on in my life where I'm still enjoying these things, and
Yeah.
ask me questions about this TV show because I'm interested.
Yep.
Or, if they're having a glass of wine or something that they're
Mm-hmm.
really enjoying, though you can always tie those personal elements in to these behind the scenes. And I absolutely think it's an easy post that doesn't take too much effort.
Not at all. And that's all part again of staying top of mind. No, you don't want to all day, every day, just I'm a realtor, I'm a realtor, I'm a realtor. And I
Mm-hmm.
get this all the time. Well, Kim, should I post on my personal page or should I post on my business page? Or how should I do that? And here's what I say. Yes, you should absolutely have a business page. And yes, you should absolutely post on your business page. But when you are being relatable, you're posting on your personal page. And just like you just said, I'm sitting here looking at TV, but the MLS is up. You have just reminded that person in a personal, relatable way that you're a realtor. You're not, being that used car salesman, sorry, but you're not being that used car salesman that's just pushing, badgering over the head, let me sell your house. Let me sell your house. You're not doing that.
I'm the
You know,
best. I'm the best. I'm the
right,
best.
right.
You can only say I'm the best for so long
Yeah,
without being
yeah.
personal. And there's also some vulnerability aspects that you should
Mhm.
have in your business. Hey, I can't believe, there's a crack in my wall, as Kim
Right.
just said, right? It's bringing that relatability back because everybody's experienced something like that where all of a sudden you turn on, okay, that wasn't there yesterday. Why is there
Right,
this? And
right.
it's there. It's so I love that. I love that dynamic that you said. Hey, always have a business page. Guys, it's actually really
Mhm.
important for algorithms that you still have a business page and that it relates to your niche. Let's
Yep.
keep that in mind too. So if you do work with first-time homebuyers, make sure that hashtag first-time homebuyers is like every other post that you do on the business page. But your personal page can have a mix. Now, I'm going to ask you the same question I ask a lot of people. What's your ratio? What's the mix of personal to business posts on a personal page?
So,
I know, loaded question.
so I will say that I have mastered relatability.
Mm,
And
okay,
so I am able to put business into my personal all the time
I like it.
because I feel like I don't post just solds anymore. I don't post any of that type of stuff anymore. I am more so again the relatability person where people know that I'm an agent because of something else,
Mm,
that may have
okay.
happened. And I find that with your business page, again, I think that they're definitely important and you absolutely should have them and you should post on them regularly. As a matter of fact, you should post on both. You should, try to populate both. But, I get the most. Here's the thing, people who go to my business page, they're intentionally going to my business page. I want the people also who are going to come through referrals,
Mm,
who are going to, yeah, they're going to be intentional, but they're going to be some that are not intentional too. So I want everybody to know about what I do. So, intentionally posting business stuff, That's mostly on my business page. But the relatability stuff that kind of eases in the business all the time.
Awesome. Little sprinkle stuff.
Yep.
This is how it relates to my business. I'm so
Yeah.
glad we've been able to take this vacation. It's because
Yep.
of my
Absolutely.
real estate investments, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
That, yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Here's the other thing too. When you use the prompt that was provided or just a prompt of your own for your Claude or ChatGPT or what have you, ask it. You don't want it to make up a story for you. You don't want it to do that. But ask it to give you some suggestions of experiences that you could mingle in with your content that would be of importance to that target audience. That's very different than asking it to help you with, writing a story. Or you could give the AI an example of a story or an experience that you had and ask it to help you to mold it into content. I've done that. So that is something that you can do. So here's some AI tools that I said I would mention to power your content. You don't have to use these. These are just suggestions. These are content creator platforms that I've used in the past and currently as well. So Claude or ChatGPT or whatever your favorite LLM learning model is, to draft your posts, your emails, and your captions. Now, remember, you're not just going in and say, hey, give me a post about blah, blah, blah. You're not doing that. That's where you're making the mistake if that's what you're doing. You're saying, based on my client, my target market or my avatar audience, whatever you want to call it, based on that, and what you know about my business and my brand, let's now draft a post or an email or a caption, for that would appeal to that particular market. And today I want them to know me. I want them to like me, or I want them to trust me. And you can come up with 3 different posts just on that one story and just say, hey, I want to talk about the no today, and have it to come up with that. I want to talk about the like. Now that's 3 posts right there for the week. Canva is very easy to use when it comes to creating branded graphics, reels, listing content, what have you. Or if your brokerage provides some type of content creator that you can use that. I like repurpose.io. I don't know about you, but I do not have time to sit and populate all of my social media. And so I use repurpose.io to repurpose my content automatically. So when I post in one location, it automatically posts in all of the other social media platforms, and in the dimensions and sizes that are needed, whether it's horizontal or vertical. If you are creating video and you're not as video savvy, I use my phone. Phone is great. Most of the best content creators out there, they are using their phones. Okay. That you paid a lot of money for a camera. If you have a smartphone, that's basically what you paid for. So use it. You can use your phone for video, but in video is very good for that beginner. You don't want to get too involved. You just put in a prompt and it creates a video for you, and it's gotten pretty advanced.
I will say this with any third-party deployment platform, those are great for your business page, especially. So repurpose.io, definitely think to use it if you're going to go a direct post. So when we're talking third-party, when you create a graphic in either Canva or repurpose.io, you can actually post from those platforms.
Yes.
But you will get dinged in any algorithm. So be cautious in doing it on your personal. But if you're doing things on your business page, by all means, make that maneuver there where, I mean, honestly, I hate to say it, but business pages are already dinged. We're already hurting anyway. So if you're getting above, basically, if you're getting anything above like a 15% retention, you're doing very well on your business page. Otherwise, for the most part, when we are thinking about these kind of content pieces, we're really looking at using them for ideas. And Canva, you can just download it on your phone or on your desktop and use the graphic later directly in the platform at the correct size. I use that all the time. I know I asked the question, what tools are you guys using? Personally, I use Canva, ChatGPT. I did use Repurpose.io for a little bit, but again, I ran into where we were getting too low of an engagement score. And I'm very curious to do the in video myself. Definitely heard a lot of good things about it, so I definitely want to try that one. I will say I also started using CapCut. Has a couple AI tools built into CapCut for editing your videos. So that one's been really fun where they can pull out all the ums and uhs and then put the direct captions. And then on top of that, you can actually put a script in. It'll just create a video for you.
The algorithm, it doesn't, for business pages, everybody kind of suffers. And that's one of the reasons why I needed to master relatability on the personal page side to kind of get past this whole, big brother algorithm is watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And even it used to be that pages could actually go into groups and post it and it would be fine. And then the algorithms took that out, right?
Yep.
So like all these personal posts or links or anything in a groups like got completely destroyed. You've got all these videos being produced and now the algorithms are saying faceless videos are also now about to get dinged.
Yes. I saw that on YouTube where they're cutting back, on those types of videos. Yeah, unfortunately.
Because we were getting like the mass-produced AI videos of quizzes and different pieces, and so it muddied the water, and people were starting to not like the content. So again, this goes back to, and I wanted to relate it back to the topic, which is the know, like, and trust. Showing your face and showing your fingers that you have 5 of them is a huge part of boosting yourself in the algorithms, even just a little bit of extra exposure.
Absolutely. And one of the other little tricks of the algorithm is it loves to celebrate. And so when you're posting things and you mix and mingle your stuff, but it loves the words like congratulations or good luck or happy for you. It likes things like that. And you'll find that those posts will get pushed up too. So little trick.
Oh yeah.
So, but anyway, if you can find a reason for someone to celebrate you every day, you're a winner. But yeah, so
I think that's actually why, and I'm going to be straightforward with you. I think that's why a lot of agents like those photos and videos of a closing, because it's the friends that get tagged in that closing that say, "Oh, congrats on your new home." Well, all of a sudden that gets boosted in the algorithm to the agents. Like, yeah, I have the best post of a closing.
And then they wonder why the next post falls flat,
Yeah.
But the thing is, no, I'm not. Now, let me be very clear. I'm not saying don't ever post when you have a closing or when you get a listing. But the reality of it is that, I mean, the average agent is not closing something every week. And so you do need something to fill in that space, that gap, until you do. And then you can have that next celebratory moment, So, yeah.
And juice yourself in the algorithms.
Yes. But yeah, so one workflow that you can do, again, take one story, turn it into 5 pieces of content, like a blog, a reel, put it on LinkedIn. Do not sleep on LinkedIn. It is really on and popping right about now. Email, TikTok, all of that. Use all of those. And real quick, I'm going to give you some lead magnets, because that's the other thing that we do not do a lot of. We do not do lead magnets. What is a lead magnet, Kim? A lead magnet is I give you something and you give me something back in return. So in other words, I give you something of value and you give me your email address, or you give me your phone number, or you give me your address, phone number, and email address because you want to talk to me. That's what a lead magnet is. That was the example that I gave about my basement. My lead magnet was, let me help you. Let's set it was a 10, I know it was a 15-minute appointment with me, conversation, phone call, and to talk about that person's property and things that they can do to improve that property. All they had to do is give me their phone number, email address, and then I gave them something back in return. For your know, your like, and your trust, here are some lead magnet ideas that you can include with your content. So now remember, you want to have great content. That's wonderful. It's not enough to just have great content. Now you have to have great content, and then you have to convert your leads. You have to convert the people who are loving your content. You want to make them clients. It's great that they're on your page all day. It's great that you had a video that hit 2 million, but did you get any business out of it? Did you just get a great video? Okay. So these were some of the things for no. Top 5 mistakes first time buyers make: a checklist, neighborhood market snapshots, a quiz. What's your home worth? That's in your no. And you can, again, in your prompt that you create with Claude, ChatGPT, whoever, ask it to give you an idea for a lead magnet for that particular target market. The top 5 mistakes for first time home buyers, downsizers don't care about that. They want something that relates to them. So then you think about, if you're just trying for people to, you want that relatability piece of it. Maybe you have best brunch spots in whatever city that you're in, or family friendly things to do this summer in whatever. Hey, I'm out here with my son playing baseball. If you want to know all the family friendly things going on in this community this summer, drop your email, send me a DM, or send me a link, or drop the word family in my comments, and I'll send you whatever it is. Now you have a lead. Okay. The trust factor, here are the market updates, or I'm going to do a webinar on market updates in our community, whatever it is. You're giving information, you're giving value to that potential client for something in exchange. And that is their information to put into your CRM. And I hope everybody has a CRM and is utilizing a CRM, because if you are not, you're missing a great opportunity. So it's great to have that wonderful content, but you have to also convert that content. And lead magnets is one way that you can do that. Okay. So let me recap real quick here. Recap it. So you want to define your audience. That's the first thing that you want to do in this journey. You want to define who your ideal client avatar is. And then after you do that, you want to craft stories that connect to that particular market. You want to start understanding what brand messaging you want to put out there for that particular client avatar. Then once you've done that, you want to create your content. And you can create that content with AI if you use AI. If you don't use AI, that's fine too. But, I would suggest that you do. If you want to stand out, you can start creating your posts and your graphics, faceless videos. If you want to do faceless videos, if you're a video person and you like being in front of the camera, then create some around that. And then you want to make sure that you always repurpose everything. So if you create one video today and it's talking about whatever it is that you've designated to talk about that day, you want to take that one video and you want to post it. You want to maybe you could take the audio from that particular video, and now you have a short little audio clip that you can use. Maybe you want to take the transcript from that video, what you said in that video, and create a newsletter. You always want to repurpose. Think in the mind of repurposing. And the best example I can use for that is baking soda. How many uses of baking soda have we had over the years? You want to think about your content in that manner. How many different ways can I rework these Thanksgiving leftovers for the next week so that I can have content and I'm not stressed about thinking about new content every single day? Get up thinking, oh God, what am I going to talk about today? I got to get on social media. Oh Lord, we don't want to go through all that. You want to repurpose ideas, repurpose everything, okay? And that way it's less stressful. All right. So you want to share consistently across your platforms. Now, is it necessary to be on every single social media platform? No, it is not necessary. You want to find, again, you've defined your audience. You've defined your ideal client avatar. Used my example. If I'm talking to downsizers, if I'm talking to seniors, more than likely they're not going to be on Instagram. More than likely they're not going to be on some other platform that maybe, a millennial would be on. I know that I'm probably going to find most of my downsizers on Facebook. And so maybe I'll design all of my social media around Facebook. Maybe they're on YouTube. Maybe I may put a couple of videos, up on YouTube, or just concentrate on Facebook. Maybe that audience doesn't really check, they don't have email. I have a lot of senior clients that they just don't have email. So maybe I won't send an email. Bottom line is you want to share consistently across platforms that speak to your particular audience. Okay. Don't waste your content somewhere where your audience can't see it. All right. Then you want to use clear call to action. CTAs are call to actions. Tell them what you want them to do. Call me. Send me your email address. Send me your address so I can give you a CMA. Invite me out to your event. Give them a clear call to action, because they may still look at, oh, that's nice, she sold a house. Okay. Now what? So have a clear call to action that starts conversations. Even if it's put in the comments the last time that you remodeled your kitchen, or tell me about your experience when you remodeled your basement. Put that in the comments. Get people to talk so that you can say top of mind. Okay. Then you want to build your relationships and your engagement and your follow up and your nurturing. So you want to build those relationships so that even if that person next door isn't selling, but their daughter is, and they may want to refer you. So again, that's staying top of mind. And then you want to earn that trust. Trust will convert people to clients. Part of trust also are referrals. If someone refers someone to me, now I have relayed trust in an indirect way that has transcended over into a whole new client. So that's the recap. Now let me recap the tools real quick that I mentioned here. So you got your audience avatar, your ChatGPT and Claude, one of those. You can even use Perplexity. I love Perplexity. You don't have to subscribe to all of these, okay? Don't panic. Every last one of these has a free version that you can use, and possibly a mobile version. Okay. So Perplexity, they give you, I want to say it's 5 searches in one day. You can use that to understand your target market even more. And then Manus or something like a GenSpark to understand your audience and to help develop your brand messaging for your audience. For content creation, you can use something like a Canva, a GenSpark, or InVideo, like what I had mentioned before. And then for planning, you can use something like repurpose.io. There's a new one out there called Blatato that I really like, where you can, what the trend for a lot of AI is having everything you need in one spot. So you may have your sort of like your ChatGPT and You can also build content there, and it'll also connect into your Canva, and it's all in one spot where you're putting everything together. And then it'll also, post your content for you. That's sort of what the Potato is. But there are others out there that do the same thing. So again, Canva, and then you can also just use, if you have a business account with Facebook, Instagram, you can just use Meta's planning for posting your content, but that's going to only be on your business page. It won't be on your personal page. But even on your personal page on Facebook, you can plan content out as well. For lead capturing, you want to use a lead magnet, or you can use something called ManyChat, which I like a lot. And you want to also make sure that when you're capturing all these wonderful leads, they're going somewhere, that you can nurture them, that you can create a relationship with them. And that's your CRM. And you can also use the good old traditional QR code. You can have that where people can just scan a QR code at an open house, or if they drive
QR
by.
codes aren't dead yet. Come
They're
on,
not dead.
alive.
They're not dead. They're not dead yet. Okay. They're not the yellow phone books just yet. Okay. So you can always use those too. Yep. I do a lot in storytelling and AI video and film. And all of that really actually does apply to what you do as a realtor, because again, depending on how creative you are, people love their visual, and they love video, and they love stories.
Kim, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you all again real soon.
Thanks for having me.